So, John Lennon's Imagine. We've all heard it. It's one of those songs that's just everywhere, a global anthem for peace. But here's a thought. What if we've been hearing it all wrong? What if there's a powerful mechanism hidden just under that gentle piano melody? Okay, let's really dig into this. What if it's not just about making you feel something, but about getting you to do something, to engage in a really specific mental exercise? And that's the big idea we're exploring here, looking at Imagine not just as a piece of music, but as a guide to a pretty profound thought experiment. So what do I even mean by that? A profound thought experiment? Well, it's basically an invitation to hit pause on reality for a second. The song totally leans on this, asking us to picture these scenarios that don't exist, but that could, at least in our minds. And by doing that, it starts to poke holes in the very world we just accept as normal. At the very heart of this song, there's this powerful what-if engine. It's what drives the whole experiment forward. It's a super simple but honestly brilliant structure that Lennon uses to take our world apart, piece by piece. And you can see that engine at work right here. This isn't just nice-sounding poetry, it's actually a logical proposition. It's a classic conditional statement. If we do this, then this will be the result. Lennon is building a case, and he's using our own imagination as the evidence. This contrast is the entire point. On one side, you've got our reality, right? Borders, nations, conflict. But on the other side, you have the world the song asks you to build in your head, a place of unity where the reasons we fight just evaporate. The song is basically arguing that if you change the starting conditions, you completely change the outcome. And Lennon doesn't just stop with one what-if. He's really meticulous. He applies this thought experiment to three of the biggest ideas that define our world. He asks us to imagine life without three things we pretty much take for granted. So the first challenge, and probably the most famous one he throws down, is against nationalism. He starts right here, asking us to just mentally erase the lines on the map that define us and them. And I love this part. He even says it isn't hard to do. He's coaching us, telling us that this first step is totally within our reach. So what's the payoff for this first step? Well, in Lennon's logic, it's a brotherhood of man. It's a world where what we have in common as humans is way more important than what passport we carry. Okay, let's move on to the second pillar he asks us to rethink, religious dogma. This is a really provocative line. He isn't necessarily attacking faith itself, but he's questioning the structures of reward and punishment in an afterlife. He's asking us to imagine a world that's focused only on what we can see and touch, above us only sky. And the proposed outcome of thinking that way? Well, if we weren't all working for a reward in the next life or trying to avoid punishment, our whole focus would shift, right? We'd pour all of our energy into the here and now, into living for today. And finally, we get to the third challenge. And this one might just be the most radical of all. Materialism. I mean, this one cuts right to the core of how our modern economies work. He asks us to envision a world where the very idea of private ownership just isn't a thing. And there's that if-then logic again. If we didn't have possessions, then the motivation for greed and the inequality that leads to hunger wouldn't exist. The result of this final mental experiment is a world built on sharing, not on having. It's a vision where just letting go of our attachment to stuff could get rid of so much of the world's suffering. A truly utopian idea. Of course, a song this huge doesn't just pop out of nowhere. To really get what it's saying, you have to look at the world that created it. So, Imagine came out in 1971. And this was a time of serious global conflict and social change. The peace movement was growing fast, but it was searching for an anthem, a simple, clear message that everyone could rally behind. So you have all these things coming together. A world in turmoil, a whole generation hungry for peace, and this deep belief that music and art could actually make a difference. And you cannot talk about this song without talking about the crucial poetic influence of Yoko Ono. The source material makes it clear. Without her conceptual art and poetry, this song's what-if framework might never have existed. Now, it is really easy to hear all this and just dismiss it as naive, right? A beautiful idea, sure, but completely unrealistic. But I think that's missing the song's real purpose. Lennon totally saw that criticism coming. He puts it right in the lyrics. He acknowledges that, yeah, it sounds like a dream. But then he does something really clever. By saying, "But I'm not the only one," he turns a personal fantasy into an open invitation. It's a call to find the other dreamers. And this is really the ultimate takeaway. Imagine isn't a passive song that just describes peace. It's an active tool. It is an instruction manual for your own brain, designed to make you a participant, not just a listener. The song argues that the very first step to changing the world is being able to actually picture a different one. Which leaves us with the song's final, lingering challenge, one that it kind of throws back at us. The song gives us the instructions, it sets up the thought experiment, but what happens next, well, that depends on who's willing to try it. So the real question isn't just what John Lennon imagined, it's what could happen if we all did. If we kept imagining, what could become reality?